Welcome to What's Your Story? Every week I bring you a guest who's authentic and genuine, who's going to provide insights and practical information that you can put to work in your personal and professional life. Today is no different. Today we're going to explore the world of consulting as it relates to a financial perspective on small businesses, corporations in America. My guest today is Tom Aiken. Tom is the leader of the Cedarwood Partners, more than one. And Tom's going to talk today about some interesting things he's doing with his clients here in the Delaware Valley. Tom, welcome to the show.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me, Charlie.
I'd like to jump right in. What is it exactly that you do?
What we do is provide strategic CFO services to emerging growth companies to help them get over the critical needs that they're going to have in growing their businesses in the 21st century.
So what's a typical challenge that they're facing?
The challenges can be many. We get called perhaps to do analysis on profitability. We get opportunities to work on mergers and acquisitions to get them prepared. It's a broad spectrum of services that can be provided from the experience that we have.
Could you share with the audience a little bit about the profile of the kind of organizations that you feel you serve best?
Sure. We serve emerging growth companies between $1 million and $50 million. But I also provide services to other consulting firms as well, in providing them with the experience and expertise that I have. So it's an opportunity to share the experiences that I've had in the past to overcome a lot of these obstacles with numerous clients in various industries.
So you don't limit yourself to any particular industry, manufacturing or services?
No, because my experience has been in manufacturing and in software with technology companies, but we've also provided a lot of services to nonprofits, medical devices, heavy manufacturing, and software companies as well.
So give us a little sense of your journey, because you just didn't jump into this consulting overnight. There's been a history to get you here. So it would be helpful to get a little background or context on your career.
Yeah, my journey started in the corporate world with 30 years experience in data communications, equipment manufacturing, in software, semiconductors, government business, the space business.
Some brand name companies?
Some brand name companies. Well, after I got out of the Army, I worked for General Electric, for Ford, in their aerospace group, as the large corporations, and then moved into the middle market to get into multinational, as a CFO of multinational manufacturing and public software company.
How does that experience and perspective helps the size companies that you're focusing on today?
What it does is we're able to bring to them the experiences that have transacted through those experiences to these companies to help them get over the hurdles that they're facing as they grow.
A lot of consultants out there, many of them would say similar words to what you just shared with the audience. Yeah. What makes you guys different? What would you focus on? Have your clients said to you, hey, you're different than other people I've worked with? Yeah. Exactly what is it?
It's the breadth of experience, whether it's doing multinational mergers and acquisitions, whether it's bringing companies, reorganizing them out of bankruptcy, whether it's doing initial public offerings, whether it's restructuring their bank debt, or helping them raise equity capital. They're all the experiences that we have that we bring to the table.
How do you attract your clients?
Our clients it's all referral work. Everything is referral. I also do support other consulting firms as well, where my expertise is of value. Trilogy Partners is one where I work with some of their clients in North Jersey. Another one is CFO Consulting Partners, where I work can work for clients as a CFO, on an interim basis. On the nonprofit side, I've worked a lot of nonprofits with J.F. Smith Associates as their finance practice leader. So there's a large the breadth of experience that I've been able to also impart not only to clients that are being referred directly to me, but also to other consulting firms as well.
Those three organizations that you just mentioned, the audience may not know, but these are very reputable organizations. So
That's right.
if they're reaching out to you to be the subject matter expert,
Right.
they have to really respect what you do. So congratulations on earning that over time.
Another area that I'm involved with right now is the Clean Tech Open in the Northeast, which is a clean tech accelerator, and I'm a subject matter expert from them.
Northeast?
Northeastern United States.
Okay.
Right. So I'll work with some of those companies in their accelerator program and support them. I've mentored within other organizations as well, over the years.
So
And I
what-
just recently was given a undergraduate student at Temple to mentor through the Be Your Own Boss Bowl. So,
wow.
so I'm anxious to get together with him and see what ideas he has and
So
how
it
I can
sounds to
help
me
him.
like you're generation agnostic.
Yes, I am.
If you will. So what caused you to pivot out of corporate America to pursue this particular line of work? What was
Well-
it was so attractive?
I've been involved in a lot of companies in my corporate life. All ended up in mergers of some kind, and I got to the point in my life. The last one was a public software company, and I decided, now it's time to give back. I can get out of the corporate world, and I can actually contribute to a lot of companies that are going through an emerging growth of their own, and be able to support them from the experience that I've had.
So instead of working within one company and helping them make an impact, you can help many companies
That's right.
have an impact.
That's right.
So that has an impact on tax revenues, hiring, staffing. It's got a lot of implications when you're helping companies grow.
It does.
Can you share a story, the short story that you shared with me in preparation about the owner that retired and his kids took over the company and they really wanted to scale it?
Sure.
That was an interesting story.
Yeah, we're seeing, over the last couple of years, a lot of cases where they were family-owned businesses, and now the parents are looking to pass the business off to the children. The children aren't satisfied with the status quo that perhaps their parents were satisfied with, and they want to grow the business and they want to make an impact. But they don't have the experience and they don't have the talent. So one of the organizations that I'm with is the Executive Leaders for Advisory Boards,
ELAB.
ELABs.
Okay.
And that's a good example of how we can put together a team of advisors for a company that fits their needs, bring that senior level experience from senior level executives to be able to provide them with sound advice. So boards, these advisory boards, we're going to form them and they're customized to the needs of a particular business. We'll meet with the CEO and the management on a monthly or quarterly basis and support them in a way that they could never afford to do otherwise.
Well, it would seem to me they could not afford to get all of that talent, the quality of the talent you
That's
have,
right.
in the room at the same time at an affordable price
That's right.
to do that type of thing. So what was the outcome of that? Are you still working with that group?
Sure. Yep.
How long do the engagements usually take?
These are the things that start out with maybe there's a lot of effort up front, and then it's a matter of maintenance. Yeah, so maybe you're there on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, and then it gets to a point where maybe you don't need all of the expertise on an advisory board, and it gets narrowed down to one or two trusted advisors that are always there, a phone call away.
It sounds to me like you're teaching these people how to fish. And once you send them out into the lake, you don't leave them alone. You got to check every now and then and
That's
say,
right.
are you still doing what you're doing?
That's right.
The way we taught you how to do it. So the maintenance is
That's right.
very, very important. So you talked earlier about some of the satisfaction you get out of doing this. The concept of why people do things, the purpose. What's your personal why about all this?
Well, the personal whys. I mean, I like to see these companies become successful, you know, and it's interesting now. I've been doing the consulting work, you know, for the last 5 years, and I've seen some of these companies grow up, be acquired. I've seen them grow up and become, you know, substantial players in their individual market spaces, and there's a lot of satisfaction to that, especially working with the younger generations and seeing them become successful.
What is the misperception boomers have of those up-and-coming leaders of companies?
Well, I'd say maybe they don't think that they have the work ethics that the baby boomers had,
Well,
but
that's a common misperception.
it is. It absolutely is. But you know, the world has changed. It's moving a lot faster now. You're on the world stage, and you have to be able to use those things, move fast, think fast, make fast decisions.
So what's been the big change? Here you are in corporate America, you're doing well, you're moving fast at whatever that pace was back then. What are some of the things you've noticed that are really having an impact?
Well, certainly technology. I mean, there's no question about it. You don't have you don't pick up the telephone and talk to people as much as you used to. Now it's text messages and emails and things, and things are becoming more collaborative, even through video conferencing. So you can bring the whole world together for a conference call and make decisions and make things happen a lot faster.
What is the fact that some of your clients have a global business, how does that impact them?
On a global basis, well, today, it's the same as being next door, because you have the capability through technology to be able to work together, and a lot of companies are now virtual, so they don't even have the office spaces and the cubicles that we once had. So you have to be able to adapt to that.
Yeah, I just see executives taking calls. My son, for example, he works for a global consulting firm, and he's having calls on Sunday morning with Singapore.
Right.
He's having evening calls on a Friday night with people in the West Coast and beyond. It's like the clock's always ticking.
It is.
Listen, speaking of clock ticking, we need to take a break, give some time to our sponsors to tell the world about what they do. We'll be right back with Tom Aiken to continue talking about the world of consulting.
There you go, Richard. Oh! Is that too hard for you?
No. Is it too hard for you?
Woo! We're playing catch now. Oh, shit.
Why should you choose Rowan College at Gloucester County? Low cost. The #1 nursing program in all of New Jersey. More than 70 programs of study, including selective admission.
Hi, welcome back to What's Your Story? My guest today, Tom Aiken, works with Cedarwood Partners. We're talking about consulting from a financial perspective and the differences between companies today and companies in his younger days. So the big change we're talking about technology as a major difference. I think one of the things we were touching upon is misperceptions, misconceptions sometimes about the kinds of things you do and the kind of help that you can provide. What are companies that bring you in? They've never really had an outside consultant before. What have you sensed as some of the misconceptions that they've had?
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes they believe that they have one problem, and it turns out when you get in there and you start peeling back the onion, that's not really the issue. There's other underlying problems that they may have. For example, we get called in to do a profitability analysis, and once we get in there, we find out the problem with the profitability is that the sales organization is being incented on the wrong products, those that are not the most profitable. So in that case, we might have to offer to bring in an HR compensation person to go over the compensation plans for the sales force and get them focused on the right products. At the same time, we might find out that there's also problems with inventory management. So we might have to look at that and make recommendations on the process or the systems that they're using to bring their inventory in the line. So these things can start out in one direction and end up becoming much more complicated, requiring much more resources.
I'm hearing change. I'm hearing they come in to fix a particular problem, and you may have to change some processes around to do that. That isn't always welcome.
That's right.
Who usually brings you in?
I'm usually brought in by the CEO or by the board. Okay. In some cases, in some cases, in the case of a private equity firm, for example, who has acquired a company, would bring me in to work with the CEO and the CFO to help them put together the financial information and the type of analysis that the private equity or the venture-backed investors would want to see.
Pre-acquisition?
No, this would be post-acquisition, yeah. So what happens is they buy the firm, they get in there, and they just get all this information dumped on them. All these numbers and spreadsheets and everything. And what they really need to do is be able to put that in a format that the investors are used to seeing from other companies and provide the analysis so they don't have to figure it out themselves.
So does the term post-acquisition integration apply? Is that
post-acquisition integration? Yeah, I would say
making sense out of what they bought.
Making sense out of what they bought.
That's an area that's really growing because I read somewhere that 60% of growth is around mergers and acquisitions today. So right. They're going to keep you busy. Is there a favorite story you have about private equity you'd like to share with the audience?
That was really that's really one of them, where we go in and to straighten out their financial reporting. In the same token, you have to understand the mentality of the investors for the CEO, so that they have an appreciation for what the expectations are for the company, from a level of profitability and perhaps the comparable analysis of like companies elsewhere in the portfolio or in that particular industry.
When you're brought in by the investor group and the founder, CEO has remained on, there could be a tension there. How do you manage those?
Well, what you do is you become the trusted advisor of the CEO. I mean, you're sharing with them the experiences that we've had and be able to support him in becoming successful. I mean, the whole idea is how can we help these companies become successful? And that's our goal, and we can bring forth the expertise that's needed in whatever area that may be.
So we talk about value propositions. What is the value proposition of Cedarwood? in a sentence or two.
Right. The value proposition is that you get a lot of experience in a lot of industries, and we have relationships that we can bring forth to bear expertise in any area that you may need.
What surprises you?
What surprises me is that the businesses today really have great opportunity that they have to be able to seize quickly to gain the position that I think they should be at. And it's a global environment now, so you have to think more globally, and you have to think more globally from a lot of perspectives, not only from the things we hear about today, being the tariffs and the taxes, but also the cultures and the cost of doing business in the various global markets.
But I heard you were a finance guy. It sounds to me like this is general management issues that you're forced to deal with as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the difference, I think, between a strategic CFO and a CFO who's primarily an accountant and focused, purely on accounting.
What are some of the words that clients have used to describe you? So you're shaking hands, the engagement's over, you're leaving. What kind of words of praise do you hear from them about the work your team does?
Well, certainly they're appreciative for the fact that we've gone beyond what the initial objective was, to be able to provide foresight and advice and perhaps recommendations in other areas that they had not thought of.
So they bring you in under one premise and you end up broadening their...
And we never lose touch with those people. I mean, it's you become part of their team. You are that trusted advisor. You are that, that uncle in the corner office that they can pick up the phone anytime, today or in the future, and have a friend.
There's a lot of talk about success and meaning, and it sounds to me like you're able to deliver success for them and you're getting a lot of meaning out at the same time.
Absolutely.
That sounds like an ideal situation for a guy that's in his 50s.
It is.
Tom,
Thanks, Charlie.
This is going to come to an end right now, unfortunately.
All right.
I think there's more we can talk about, but this is the time of the show where you look into the camera and you talk to the audience, make an offer, tell them about you, how to get in touch with you, whatever you would like to do. That's my gift to you.
Sure. Well, thanks, Charlie. I'm available to talk if anybody thinks that you have a need where we could provide some help. You can reach me at taiken@cedarwoodpartners.net. The website is cedarwoodpartners.net. So don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll connect and see if perhaps we can help.
Is there a phone number?
The best way to reach me is by email. The phone numbers are, I want to make sure that I reach you right away.
And for the benefit of the audience, time spent with this man is going to be well worth it. High integrity, a lot of experience, well worth your time to have a conversation. Tom, again, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Charlie.
And thanks to you for tuning in. Again, next week, another guest, authentic, genuine, who's going to have practical insights that will help you in your professional and personal life. Have a great time.